Today I wanted to share with you one of the concepts that really helped me to step up my composite game, working with perspective. And I'm gonna share some of the tips that I learned along the way, because this really helped me to make my composites more realistic and in general get better results. So the first thing you wanna do is find your horizon line. And how do you do that? You're gonna trace some lines in the elements of your photograph until they intersect with each other. This intersection is called the vanishing point. So now you have a vanishing point and a horizon line. This is what's gonna guide you to place your subject in your composition properly. In order to make this process easier, you have to plan ahead of time. So if you're shooting in a studio, make sure that you're using the same perspective on your studio and also when you go shooting outdoors. Because once you go back to post-production, the process will be much more easier and this is gonna give you a more realistic result. Try to stick around with only 1 point perspective. It is the easiest way to make composites. If you're working with 2 points or 3 points perspective, it basically means that you're shooting from above or you're shooting from below, and this is gonna add distortion to your photograph. And when you are trying to match a photograph like this in post-production, it just makes the process a little bit more difficult. I'm not saying that you can't do it, but especially if you're getting started in composite work, this is gonna make the process much more difficult. In order to make your composites more credible, more realistic, you want to be mindful of your lighting. So this is a trick that I learned from Joel Grimes. You're gonna have a main light source that is gonna for your subject and having a second light to add an edge light or a rim light. Having a lighting setup like this on your subject is gonna make the process a lot easier because the rim light is gonna help you add separation between your subject and your background. And this is gonna result in a more realistic composite. Later on, what you're gonna do in post-production is once you have your elements ready, you're gonna find your horizon line and your vanishing point in your subject, and then you're gonna match it with your existing background. Once you go back to post-productions, you can add more elements that are gonna help blend your subject more with your background, like for example lens flares, color flares, and finally what you're gonna do is some color correction and color grading, which is gonna blend the whole thing into one single piece. Here are some of the things that you want to avoid. When you are shooting on a studio, avoid shooting in green screens. I know that this concept works in video, but for photography, I really don't like having the green splash on your skin tones and basically gonna make your color correction process more difficult. I prefer to shoot on white backgrounds or gray neutral backgrounds. That way I don't have any undesired colors splashing on my skin tones of my model. Do not shoot with different lenses. Try to stick around with the same perspective, same lenses along the entire process because it just looks weird if you are trying to match a shot that was, for example, shot with a lens on at 85mm and then you shoot your subject with a 24mm. It's just gonna look weird and not realistic. The point being here that you don't want to shoot in different focal lengths and you want to stick to one focal length in the studio and also when you shoot your background. So that's it for this lesson today. I know these tips are gonna help you step up your composite work. To me it's been also a learning process, so the more you practice the better you're gonna get. Leave a comment below, share this video with your friends, and subscribe if you wanna level up your fine art photography game and your composite work. See you next time.
They don't blow your eyes out. But it is actually, see, the source of all light is in the eye. You evoke light out of the universe.